Yes, it has been around that long. But along the way, we keep saying, initially it was an assumption of we didn't have telephony lines. For those of you who were there at that time, and I can see a number of you, we only knew that telephone which you could even dial in the dark. You just knew you'd go dial up to the end and get to the line. But there were very few of them. The penetration was 0.02% of Ugandans who had phones. And we're thinking those are the phones. So we're thinking the fund needed to come in place to make sure Ugandans get telephones. Of course, the industry had other ideas. Mobile came in. No one was talking about those fixed phones anymore. But soon as we have seen, voice communication has ceased to be the thing. So we've had an evolving journey because we're in a very dynamic industry. As technology changes, new needs emerge in terms of what is basic. What is the now? Before, when we used to think basic communication was having telephony service, today we are saying broadband service. In fact, voice is seen as an add-on because you can do everything now with the internet. You can have your television, you can use your telephony services, all through the internet. And that is the nature of the evolving. But the other observation that was made, even within our communities, and this was amazingly very similar to when they were distributing food, and they say, some areas shouldn't have food distributed during COVID. But it was observed, even in those areas, we have underprivileged persons. So in the very same way, even in communications, we found it is not just about rural areas. Even in the urban areas, we have underserved persons who don't have communication. And so the fund was then rebirthed. With the 2013 amendment, it was decided that mandate needed to be expanded to recognize those in the rural communities and those within the urban areas that are underserved. At that point, the mandate was then amended that it is now for rural communications development and ICT development. And as I have mentioned, the needs are always evolving. You'll hear from my colleagues when we started the ICT in education program, we were getting to a point at the beginning of COVID when we were saying, now we're about to finish all the government-aided secondary schools. All of them by now will have an ICT lab. But as we've seen, government is rolling out more seed schools. 256, I think, are planned. So it is an evolving. And what's connectivity if you don't have applications? I always tell people, it's not about the days when we had pen pals and you'd write to, all these persons all over the world. Today you want to go online because it's going to have a purpose to you, because you're going to need to do something. You're not just going to go and flip all over aimlessly browsing from one site to another. You need a purpose. So we can no longer say we are only looking at connectivity without looking at the demand side. And that again speaks to why we are all here today. I wanted to share with you, just to help us put into perspective, because part of what we are here to look at today, yes, we are rebranding, but we're also starting a new journey in the RCDF for the UCUSAF chapter in terms of what are our new focus areas. So bringing it to context in terms of the international dimensions. In April 2022, the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Technology, together with the International Telecommunications Union, adopted 15 aspirational, and I underline aspirational, and you'll understand why, targets for universal and meaningful digital connectivity. And these are to be achieved by 2030. They cover the area of universality, technology, and affordability. And the motivation for this is that so that everyone, that is every global citizen, can enjoy safe, satisfying, enriching, productive, and affordable online experience, because that's the only way you benefit from ICTs. So in universality, the target is to have everybody who's aged 15 and above, meaning even the elderly, should be able to use and should be using the internet. all households should have internet access. And there I emphasize all households. It's not saying roofed with grass thatching or iron sheets or tiles. It is saying all. All businesses should use the internet. All schools, not just government aided, all schools should be connected. 100% of the population should be covered with the latest technology. Now that's why I underline the aspiration, because now when we talk of 5G, that is the latest. By 2030, we will be talking 5G, 4G, 3G, 6G, who knows? Everyone 15 or older should own a mobile phone. Above 70% should possess basic digital skills. We always used to have a joke with Dr. Tsurira that ICTs are different from riding a bicycle. When someone doesn't know how to ride a bicycle, curious boy, you find a bicycle, somehow you figure it out. But with ICTs, you're not going to dare, because you're always afraid of spoiling it or you don't know where to go. So you need training. And therefore, we listen to this, that they're saying above 70% of the population should have basic digital skills. And they're looking at basic as being able to send emails. Above 50% should have intermediate digital skills, like installing new software and apps. So you won't be looking for your IT or your land friend to help you. There is also a target in respect of gender, digital gender. They're saying women and men should be using, one, the internet, owning a mobile phone, and possessing digital skills in equal numbers, in equal proportions. Technology, just quickly grazing over that. Every school should enjoy a minimum download speed of 20 megabits per second. That reminds me of 2005, 2006. We're debating the telecom policy and saying, no, we should put the target to 64 kilobits. And we're thinking we're being good and visionary. No, it's not 64. We should make it stretchy. 512 kilobits per second. Where are we now? Imagine if that had been what we had prescribed as our minimum. Again, I bring this out because these are the international aspirations. What do we want to define as our aspirations for Uganda? In an era where we know it is no longer an option. You can't say ICTs or broadband is only for a category. It is for all of us. It doesn't matter, are you a farmer, are you a businessman, are you a house help, a cleaner, it doesn't matter. There is benefit in using ICTs for all of us. So how do we make sure every Ugandan gets those benefits? As Uganda Communications Commission, we don't have the resources. According to the Act, we take the 2% from the operators, but we don't retain the entire 2%. 1% goes back to the consolidated fund for other ICT projects across government. And even the 1% that remains is divided because we have policy development, we have the regulatory interventions that are done through the UCUSAF, and we also have others like UICT. So in terms of the resources available, it's a small envelope. However, if we complement each other in terms of efforts, without having to duplicate each other, with private sector, even with other MDAs, when you're going into an inroad, you have resources that another one can piggyback on. It is only through such collaboration with other donor partners as well, development partners, that we have that complementary, that we can actually realize any significant progress as Uganda. So that is one of the reasons why some of you may have been wondering, why was my MDA or my organization invited for this effort? We want to hear where ICTs can plug in for you to achieve your goals. We all speak the Sustainable Development Goals, and ICTs are a key factor that can help in that drive. but we need to work together if we are to actually achieve that goal. Again, I won't go into the where we are now because I know we have a lot to discuss, but my colleagues will be painting in terms of, as we speak now, what do we say? Just to give you a hint, because of that population coverage. Today, 2G, that's second generation GSM mobile, is at 99% of the population. But that's 2G. It's like taking a straw and trying to drink porridge out of it. But 3G is at 87. Yes, you may say that's fair, but do we talk about 3G anymore? No. 4G, we are at 37% of the population. I'll leave it there as food for thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Irene. Thank you also for being so eloquent and articulate about issues. However, just one thing. I miss the days when we would write letters to pen pals. People who would never ever meet, but it was part of this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to just have a brief run through of where RCDF came from and how UCUSAF did come about. So, kindly watch the screen and let me tell it all.
Uganda is growing and growing fast. At the heart of this growth is communication. And that is why access to communication by all Ugandans forms an integral part of the growth of this country. Uganda Communications Commission since 2002 through the Rural Communications Development Fund, RCDF, has been championing growth in the ICT sector by taking communication to underserved areas.
This is a gap intervention between the national objectives and the commercial activities of the licensed operators.
When the sector was liberalized, it meant that all operations would choose which areas to go to, and they would choose which areas not to go to, which services to offer in those areas, and when to go and when to not to go. Consequently, it meant that there will be areas, there will be a time when a certain service cannot be availed to a certain community in Uganda. A fund, therefore, the Rural Communication Development Fund, was created to bridge that gap.
This fund was put there to go to those less viable, less attractive areas of the country. And we want to make sure that everybody, irrespective of their age, their gender, their location, their income, does get the full benefits of communication services.
RCDF has been rebranded to become the Uganda Communications Universal Service and Access Fund.
And this new name seeks to capture that balance of making sure that every Ugandan has all those very basic communication services within their reach and are able to use them as an individual.
So at UCUSAF, we take a deliberate effort to sensitize the masses on how to use ICT. That's our critical getting the mass there to understand ICTs, how it can improve their quality of life, and how they can use it productively.
We are looking at enhancing broadband access to the underserved and unserved population or communities, content mediation, and research and advocacy. We've gone a long way on the digital literacy, training more than 500 people, and we don't only talk about training but also putting them in the online transaction, putting the online transaction culture to them.
What does this mean to Uganda as a country and to the everyday Ugandan? The period between 2002 and 2008 marked the first phase, which was dubbed UCUSAF 1. And the main focus of this phase was extending voice access to underserved rural areas. Key beneficiaries of this phase were schools, health facilities, internet cafes, and extension of payphone services. The period between 2009 and 2015 marked the second phase, which was dubbed UCUSAF 2, and the main focus of this phase was extending voice and basic internet access, again focusing on the underserved areas. This was done through the promotion of efficiency in service delivery through provision of internet points of presence to local governments and the integration of ICT into the learning process through equipping computer labs in schools in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports.
A child now in the most rural Uganda can access a computer and can be able to manipulate that computer, can be able to get content and get knowledge wherever he is. It has been able to train and retool our teachers also to become ICT literate.
An additional resource on the side of the teachers and on the side of the students. So before that, there was a gap at least.
For the children around the country, irrespective of whether they're in the capital or the up-country schools, will have that opportunity to have an introduction to ICT learning at an early age. And it gives them an opportunity to compete with their colleagues in other countries who have been introduced to all these systems at an early age.
I wanted to do software engineering in the university, so I thought if I started earlier, to lay a better foundation for me.
The period between 2017 and 2022 marked the third phase, which was dubbed UCUSAF 3, and the main focus of this phase was usage of ICTs through broadband connectivity. This was done by the enhancement of business efficiency for SMEs through digital skilling engagements and the implementation of initiatives to improve the lives of PWDs through digital skills and access to ICTs and assistive technologies.
Through the knowledge that we acquired, most especially using the apps that we were taught, I am able now to get in touch to my clients.
I got the knowledge of which I tried my level best to utilize it.
Actually, I'm doing so many work now online. I can Google, I can even diagnose, I try using my phone.
After the training, at least I'm able to link up with other people outside the verified district and even outside Uganda. I've been able to get funds in Germany after seeing what I've produced on Facebook, online. And yeah, many of them have big interest in them.
We are now going into those fundamental areas like agriculture. We are going into agriculture big time. We've already collaborated with Uganda National Farmers Federation to do digital skilling to selected farmer groups.
As a person, I think it has been a golden chance to us farmers of West Nile when we are now integrating ICT in our daily farmer programs. I think that's the best way to go.
These are some challenges when it comes to market access, in terms of information, I would say timely and communication. So with this platform, ICT is introduced for the farmers to access information, guidance, from their smart phones and different platforms.
With the keen eye of the Board of Directors, UCUSAF promises to continue to be an integral part of Uganda's growth by providing access to communication. Uganda Communications Universal Service and Access Fund, driving inclusive communication services.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a summary of the journey. Now, like it or not, Uganda is on the move. We have seen it. If you look around us, we've moved. And communication forms the heart of all that. However, Uganda is in Africa. So I'm going to call upon Rotarian Dr. Tusugira to kindly come up and take us through a brief presentation on universal service in Africa. A big hand clap for Dr. Tusugira.
Thank you very much, Peter. I don't know about brief and I don't know about Africa.